Hey everybody, before we start the show, I just wanted to let you know about some sponsors for this episode of Tabletop Babble. I am talking, of course, about Kobold Press. Kobold Press are the makers of fine RPG products such as the Tome of Beasts, the amazing Deep Magic product, and the Kobold Guides too. Plus, now, the Tomb of Mercy. The Tomb of Mercy was built centuries ago to house arks that would preserve the souls of humanity from an infernal invasion. Now, you must travel to the Wasted West, unseal the tomb, and send the last ark safely on its journey. Fail, and humanity faces extinction. In Tomb of Mercy, players compete with the GM in a race against time to see if humanity can be saved or if the fiendish servants of the Hells corrupt the world. This adventure is for 8th level heroes and includes special timekeeping and resurrection mechanics to keep the pace exciting and the plot moving. 3 printable sets of cards for use during play, 6 gates, 6 monuments, and 6 wardens. 6 new monsters, 9 new magic items created specifically for this adventure, and 6 pre-generated 8th level characters. Prepare to delve into the Tomb of Mercy, where the Horned Daughter of Famine and her minions await. Head to koboldpress.com or DriveThruRPG to pick up the Tomb of Mercy for 5e. Now, it is written by Cirsa Victory, friend of the podcast. We have talked about some amazing things, including Death Trap Dungeons. So check it out. This is a pretty freaking awesome adventure. It is really, really cool. Tomb of Mercy from Kobold Press. Also want to thank Dice Envy for sponsoring this podcast. You can head on over to diceenvy.com. Diceenvy.com brings cool new dice to your door without breaking the bank. Buy individually or join the subscription box that starts at just $5 a month. Use the promo code DSPN10 for 10% off your first order. Dice Envy, because you can never have too many dice. You're really going to want to check this out. The dice are very, very, very cool. There's tiny gold metal dice. There are all sorts of awesome D20 sets. You can buy dice individually. You can buy the tiny variety. You can buy regular. And the subscription box is really cool. Starting $5 a month, get yourself a nerdy little gift. Every month, 1 die arrives at your door. How many sides? How large? What are they made from? That's a mystery. Or you could get the original monthly box for as low as $15 a month. 5 to 8 dice arrive at your door every month. Check it out at diceenvy.com and don't forget to use the promo code DSPN10 for 10% off your first order. This is Tabletop Babble. I'm James Introcaso. Today on the show, I am talking with Ben, Patrick, Arnold, and Kenneth. They are D&D players in Uganda. Ben runs a program that he is going to talk about called the Butterfly Program that reaches out to youths in Uganda and teaches them skills to make them world changers. It is pretty awesome. I can't wait to dive right in. This is like a really, really special interview. So thank you so much to my guests for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. This was really fun for me to talk to D&D players who are an ocean away and doing some really amazing things. And it was also awesome to just see how no matter where you go, the same challenges apply to all D&D groups. So here is my interview with Ben, Patrick, Arnold, and Kenneth. Okay, everybody, now I am here with Ben, Patrick, and Arnold. Welcome to Tabletop Babble. So my first question for you is, who are you and what experience do you all have with role-playing games? So Ben, why don't we start with you?
I am Ben Parkinson. I'm the founder of the Butterfly Project, which is a project in Uganda. We train up young people to be social entrepreneurs, change makers. And we started out role-playing a few years ago and found that many of the young people were interested in it and enjoyed doing it.
And Patrick, how long have you been playing role-playing games?
As you already know, I am Patrick Iconia. I've been playing role-playing games since 2013, and so it's probably 5 years now.
And Arnold, how long have you been playing role-playing games?
I started out playing role-playing in 2015 when I first came here. I actually first played a video game, and then I went to a board game, then role-playing. And role-playing has been my best, and board games as well.
Well, it is excellent to have you here. I would love to know more sort of about the Butterfly Project and what is going on. And you've started your own chapter of the Adventurers League. There's all kinds of great stuff that is happening there. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what the Butterfly Project does and why you thought role-playing games were a good sort of tool to help turn young people into game changers and change makers?
I think role-playing is, in some ways, it's quite an obvious tool because it's about trying to solve problems, people being given problems all the time, and being the only one there to solve that particular problem. And that's really what the job of the social entrepreneur is. You will appear in a location, maybe one you've never appeared in before. You have to learn about what's going on, and you have to find out what the problems are and then do your best to work with people locally to solve those problems. And the role-playing is almost, at least depending on what type of character you play, I guess. But if you play a character that is there trying to solve the problems of other people, then that is one that shows you that in reality you are a change maker and possibly a social entrepreneur at the same time. At least that's one type of character you can play. So yeah, there's an obvious connection between the two things. So that's why we've done that. And we found that there are challenges, obviously, along the way, because one of the biggest challenges is English, and people have to know all of the different complicated words and new different things that are involved with the mythology of role playing, and that's a challenge. But it means it's a kind of long-term program that people get on, and they gradually learn more and more things. And as we all know, role playing, there's never an end to what you've learned. There's always a new supplement or something that you can go out and get hold of. So it's a long-term project, really.
Definitely. Patrick, what sort of characters do you like to play?
The sorts of characters that I like to play are ones that do a lot of things in one character. For example, cast spells, and at the same time, in melee weapons can do huge amounts of damage, and in range they can also do damage. So the character that the previous characters, actually in role playing, all the characters that I've so far played are this one here: Alchemist, Summoner, the Paladin, and Cleric.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Wizard somehow, but I usually don't play a Wizard. So the one that I'm currently playing is a Paladin. So I like characters that do a lot of damage, and they're normally good. They're not evil. They try to solve problems.
Definitely. I mean, the Paladin fits that bill for sure. They are able to do a lot of damage, and they usually do good. So that makes a ton of sense. Arnold, how about you? What kind of character do you typically like to play?
Well, I've played a lot of characters, and the one I like most is a Cleric. I don't go much into fighting, but I like buffing other people to do more damage and stuff, and healing up guys, and also connecting our group together, because there's sometimes when they become crazy and they just leave each other. They want to do their own stuff.
I have the same problem with my group too. They go all over the place and want to help different people for sure. So Ben, obviously, you said you've been using role-playing games as part of the program for a while. When did you introduce role-playing games as part of Game Changers and the Butterfly program?
Very near the beginning in Uganda. In fact, I even tried it in Nigeria, although language was a very significant problem in Nigeria. But we tried it right from the beginning, and we set up one group, and that group was kind of gradually matured over time. Some people are not in it now anymore. Some people are still in it. And people like Joseph are still in it right from the beginning, more or less. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been going for quite a long time now.
Do we have a new arrival that I should introduce?
Yeah, I'm Kenneth.
Hey, Kenneth. I'm James. How are you? How long have you been playing role-playing games?
It has been a while now. I don't know, something like 6 years now.
What kind of character do you like to play?
I mainly like to play sorcerer and wizard. And this time I'm starting to like a bard, but...
Patrick, do you feel like role-playing games has helped you in the real world? You know, I certainly feel like it has for me. Do you feel like you have learned from the games that you are playing?
I don't only feel like, I know that I've learned from the games that I'm playing. Because if, for example, there are certain decisions in the game that are very important. And like, I am playing a paladin, so there's a certain conduct I'm supposed to carry out with my character. I'm not supposed to be going around and doing nasty things. So, and then I'm also supposed to be helping out the community in terms of evil and the rest. So it helps me to apply it in daily life, such that I don't bully others, because it's a common thing, and I also tell others not to bully people. It's helping me out a lot. It also helps me in making decisions. For example, in the campaign we are playing of Rise of the Rune Lord, Arnold here playing a cleric of Serenry broke one of the codes of Serenry, which he's not supposed to cast a spell, evil spells like Animate did, but
And I was punished.
he didn't.
I accepted the punishment.
So he didn't really follow what he was supposed to do. He cast that spell. And then we were helping out a small village. But the party, because the village is somehow again rude towards them, they feel that the village is rude towards them, they decide not to help out. So I'm trying currently to encourage them such that we finish what we are supposed to do and we leave the area if they no longer want to be there. So it also helped me in making decisions which are right, not basing on my personal feelings, but what is good for the general public.
That is a lesson a lot of people have yet to learn, I think. That's incredible. How about you, Arnold? Do you feel like you've learned some stuff from use of role-playing games?
Yeah, I've learned a lot because the kids are here who like bullying other people. I just take it easy because I know in role playing, they are these ones who like bragging that they can do a lot of damage, but they are powerless without us. So I can contribute to the community. So I've tried to correct those who try to do wrong, and then like here they like playing badly, and I try to correct them from the wrong. So majorly I'm basing on my character, which I like playing most. Correct.
Absolutely. Wow. That's this is huge. What about you, Kenneth? Have you learned from role-playing games?
Yeah, I've learned a lot of things, but most especially teamwork and cooperation. Because when we're in the battle, we have to cooperate, we as a team, not to defeat one monster or the others. So I've learned to cooperate with others and also to understand like what the world is all about, because you are here in the real world and then you enter into the role-playing world, like you're expressing two different things. That it's great. That I like about it, and I've learned it.
And Ben, I assume you're seeing an impact when you come and play role-playing games and board games.
Yeah, the Butterfly Project, we train a lot of things, and one of the things we do is things like ethics, and we talk about how there are people in the world who create a difference, and how there are others that try to stop them, and things like that. And So I think it's really part of the theme of our project as a whole. So yeah, of course we're seeing lots of impact. These ones here, these are our third group of butterfly members. So the first and the second group are in their 20s now, and they're already making an impact in society. You know, one of our members won a Queen's Award recently, and another one has just got a fellowship from a large foundation. So yeah, things are starting to happen, and with the older group as well. Most of those didn't do the role playing. So we see this as, if you like, part of the fabric of what we are doing.
You also started a chapter of the Adventurers League recently, right? How has that been going? Why join the organized play program? What was attractive about that?
I think that sometimes when there's a lot of people, as we have a lot of people there, we have 20-something residents here, and we also have 20 or 30 people that come here regularly to our center. I felt that we could run with a regular group, and we do with Rise of the Rune Lords. We have that as a regular group, but I felt it would be good to have an opportunity for anyone to just kind of drop in at any time and just do a session with somebody. I guess like in the shops around the world, that's what they do, isn't it? And I guess we're a little bit like a shop, and people can come. And if somebody wants to run an adventure, then they can come and run that adventure. We are starting to print out the different adventures, yeah. And we've got we were very lucky to be donated a large number of the PDFs. So we're starting to work through those. And so I think it's something that will gradually develop over time, and is I think so far the sessions have gone pretty well. Nice. Although we had some near wipeouts, I think, because some of the are very new. But they've all survived all the missions just about.
Are you switching rule sets? Like, are you going back and forth from D&D to Pathfinder and Pathfinder to D&D, that sort of thing?
We are all more familiar. We're very familiar with Pathfinder because it's been going for a long while. I did play 4th edition at the beginning. Then we switched to Pathfinder. Sure. Yeah. And then we are now coming back to 5th edition. And I personally like it. I don't know what the other ones think in comparison, but I personally like 5th edition.
What about the rest of you? Patrick, do you like 5th edition or do you like Pathfinder better? There's no wrong answer.
I know there's no wrong answer here, but the reason why I like Pathfinder better is that I'm in a higher level whereby I need to roll much more less to hit, and I have much more bigger decisions to make. For example, should I help out here or not? Should I do this or not? But in 5th edition, it's somehow narrow for me. I find it a bit small because we are still just beginning. But maybe I like it better as we go on with it. But currently, I love Pathfinder more because I need to roll a 2 to get a hit.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, being powerful is fun, and you make decisions that have more of an impact usually when you're more powerful. That totally makes sense. What about you, Arnold? Do you like Pathfinder or 5th edition more?
Well, for me, I like both of them. But the only disappointing part is I have to start from level 1. We're in level 10 now, where we are in Rise of the Rune Lords. I can cast a whole range of spells and do a whole range of buffs. But now I have only like 1. But in DDI, now I'm trying to play the rogue and see how it works out. For me, I like both.
Yeah, I'm sort of that way too. If a game has a dungeon and a dragon in it, I don't care what it is. I'll play anything, right? What about you, Kenneth? Do you have a preference? Do you like 5th edition or Pathfinder better?
Me, I think I like both, because I haven't yet explored the new changes in the 5th edition adventures, but I'm still yet to find out. Yeah. So I like both.
Yeah, they're very similar too, right? There's a lot of similarity. You still roll a d20 to find out if you hit or not, right?
The fun bit about it is when you roll a critical, you don't need to confirm. Just confirm.
I like that too.
To add on to my point of view about the two, I find 5th edition rather fun because it's having this thing which I don't know how to express it, but at first level you can do a bit more than you could do in Pathfinder because you have these cantrips that you can cast over and over and over and over, and they deal similarly huge amounts of damage. So it makes some weak characters like a wizard or a cleric to be rather invulnerable because they are at range and they are still doing damage. So they equally enjoy the game has a fighter who is dealing the same amount of damage. So that's one thing that I really like from 5th edition, because even if you're starting from first level, you're not completely buggered when you run out of spells, because you have that one option whereby you're constantly dealing damage, and that's what I've been doing with my current cleric in 5th edition.
Yeah, you've always got that Sacred Flame spell ready to go, right? Hey everybody, just wanted to take a quick break to let you know this podcast is brought to you by Code 2050. Code 2050 is amazing. We are playing it on DSPN Presents this month, so you should go check it out there. And it is kickstarting right now. Code 2050 is a lightweight rule set extension that gently layers onto the D20 5e system without changing a single existing rule. It keeps everything you love about the greatest role-playing game in the world: the combat, the races, the monsters, the magic, and adds tech. We're talking about drones, cars, computers, guns, explosions. 2050 loves tech. Everyone has a smartphone, and everyone has basic computer skills. Some kick it up a notch, bending technology to their will by becoming hackers. Hackers? Yep, 2050 has those. They've added 3 new subclasses for every 5e class to update them and give them awesome urban and technological abilities. It is really, really fun. You're going to want to check it out. It's awesome. It takes place in the future of our existing world, so you don't even need to do that much crazy learning about the world. You can just sit down, play. GM's going to know what they need to know, and it is great. Check it out right now from Legendary Pants. Go to legendarypants.net/DSPN. That's legendarypants.net/DSPN, where you can browse the 2050 system resource document and learn a little bit more about the world of 2050, and of course, check out the currently kick-starting project. legendarypants.net/DSPN. All right, back to the show. So you have a convention coming up, right? In about 2 weeks, it looks like you are going to have the Uganda Village board game convention. Let's talk a little bit about that and what's going to go down there, because it's board games, RPGs, and LARP, which is awesome. How did this come about? This is the second one, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was talking to one of these ones here that you see here. These ones are what we call the Uganda Board Game Pioneers. And we started this group up last year, including someone called Beckham. And Beckham and I had a chat one day, and he said, let's do something in the village and let's see what we can achieve there. And I thought, we worked on it together, and we came up with the idea of the village board game convention. The village is quite an expensive thing, so I thought, well, we'll make it very small. We'll see what happens. But we ended up with about £3,000 at the end of the fundraiser, simply because board gamers around the world were really keen to support what we were doing. So yeah, we put that into practice in the first day. And then the next day they walked 5 miles to come again. So you knew then that actually we were actually onto something, and that the village children, they were able to learn these different games, and they were able to enjoy them straight away, and they wanted to learn more of them. So, and then gradually we brought about game changes. But the Village Board Game Convention this year is more or less the same. The only differences are in the intervening period, because of support from the board gaming community, we've been able to start up 6 village board game clubs in remote parts of northern Uganda, and all of those village club members are going to come to our convention. So we're not bringing just random children who might live locally. These are actually club members this time, and it's their chance to learn a whole variety of new board games at the convention. At the moment, each club has got maybe 5 or 6 board games, and they'll come to the convention and be able to learn 40 or 50, and also play role-playing, which they won't have done before, and they certainly won't have done any LARP before.
So, Patrick, you said you've been playing for about 5 years now. Do you teach a lot of people how to play role-playing games? Do you introduce it to a lot of new players?
Yeah, I do teach, and currently I'm running an adventure with the new players, and the last session was all about teaching them how to advance their characters from one level to the next. And I think Ben did the character creation with them. So for me, I decided to do the advancement of characters from one level to the next, since they didn't know much of what they were doing. But currently I'm running an adventure with them, and I hope we will continue it. I usually run my adventure every Sunday. So
name of the adventure?
The name of the Crypt of the Everflame is the adventure I'm running, and it's from Pathfinder.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great adventure. That's a really, really fun one. How about you, Arnold? Have you run any games? Are you bringing new players to the table?
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to happen this past Saturday, but last Saturday. But I think they all were not informed properly, and they had gone out to play frisbee and stuff. So I've informed them, well, and this Saturday we are going to start our adventure, the Red Raven, and then we have made for them characters, and they are ready. It's a group of 6 people, the adventure is starting on this Saturday.
That's awesome. Good luck. That's going to be fun. Kenneth, hit me. How about you? Have you introduced new people to the game? Have you run the game before?
I haven't yet run any campaign before, but the last week, as he said, we were supposed to run a campaign, the Red Raven, me and him, so the players didn't show up. So that's my first campaign I'm going to be running in my life, so I'm ready for it.
Good luck. Good luck. Yeah, running a game is a totally different experience too. It's a lot of fun. That in and of itself, I feel like preparing and running an adventure, Ben, you learn a lot of skills. I know it's helped me with my writing. It's helped me with my sort of management skills as well, wrangling people. Is that part of the program too? Are you encouraging people to run games?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a whole kind of, as a DM, you're thinking in a slightly different way, aren't you? You're not necessarily solving the problems. You are trying to make things fun. You're trying to make things balanced. You're trying to make things keep going at the right tempo. There are quite a lot of project management skills, I guess, that you would learn as a DM. I think the other thing that's quite important as a DM is the reading part of things. And so one of the reasons I think the Adventurers Guild will work out well is that there is less reading than in one of these big campaigns. Yeah. You can read that, you can learn that adventure. It's not quite such a daunting thing for the DMs to do than say, right, I'm going to take on Rise of the Rune Lords, which is 300 pages long. So yeah, definitely that is something that I'm sure that they're learning. Obviously, they also want to, in time, when they're ready, write some adventures themselves. And Patrick has started doing that to some extent. the others will follow. I'm sure I've got the talent to do that too.
Yeah, Patrick, what are you writing adventures about?
In most cases, when I'm writing adventures, I write about the local life and the history of African society. I don't go much into the European or American mythology. So I prefer to keep local because I'm more familiar with the local beliefs and cultures and the rest. So it also helps me to deliver better when I'm teaching. For example, last year I had to write an adventure from scratch, said that I go and teach them in the convention. So that's one thing that has been happening. I write my adventures and run them with the local kids and see how they try to work it out.
I bet it helps the fact that you're writing, locally about your culture there too. I bet it helps other people get into the game, if it's something they can relate to. Ben, is there anything that the greater community of role-playing game players can do to help support the work you're doing? And is there anything like that out there? A lot of creators listen to this podcast. Is there anything that you want to see made that would help with what you're doing?
I definitely think that there should be some adventures made which are a bit less challenging with regard to English. I think that's a really significant issue. And it's almost presumes that there are no people playing who have English as their second language, or at least young people playing who have English as their second language, and clearly that's not the case. And so I think here in Uganda, if there were adventures which were slightly more straightforward and appreciated, perhaps that there was people might not know what an orc was, or a troll, or even a dwarf. They might not know what those were. Those kind of adventures are welcome. They're welcome. We've been playing Nyambe, and we know Chris Dollant, who set that up. And Chris is something of an expert in the history in these areas, and he's helped us with some adventures. But we definitely need some more adventures of that type, or simply some adventures which are not kind of simplistic, but they take it into consideration that there are words in here which most people outside English-speaking nations would not know those words. Yeah, certainly young people would not have learned those words at school. We know that Pathfinder is an adult-orientated game, which is good, but it does make things a bit difficult sometimes. Yeah, and I find myself rewording things a lot of the time, knowing that there are certain words in there that no one will understand. And there's no point in playing a game where people don't know what it is you're trying to describe. And that's one of the biggest issues that we have in trying to bring role-playing into Uganda, is that actually when you run it, people will say, well, I don't know what that's about. Yeah. And so therefore, if you have something that's a bit simpler, it doesn't use things which are obviously from a particular mythology, which would be beneficial. Yeah. And it might well see a spread of role playing, because we know that that the young people, they like exercising their imaginations, but they need something to start with, and they need to start to learn. It's almost like you're able to unlock imagination if you start to talk to young people and teach them interesting stories. You're unlocking their imagination, and that's an important aspect.
That's huge. If people have products or money that they want to throw your way, is that a thing that they're able to do?
We're certainly happy. We don't have very much in the way of 5th edition stuff at the moment, and we would love to have a few more adventures and maybe campaigns and stuff. We don't have any campaigns right now, but we do have lots of stuff. We have dice and other things like that. Plenty of stuff, really. But yeah, we are here. If people want to converse with us, then we'd love to hear from anyone who's interested in the role playing or the board games project.
That's awesome. Let's touch very quickly on board games, because board games are also awesome. What board games are you all playing over there? Because it certainly, I'm looking at the website, and it looks like these are some awesome games. Yeah, what have you played, Patrick?
I've played a lot of games, and one of my favorites is Descent, followed by Rex. Though I like other games like Cosmic Encounter and the rest, Ticket to Ride. I don't much play Monopoly, and I don't like it. In fact, games that are slightly simple, I don't much enjoy them because I find them rather boring. But games which are complicated like Rex, Descent, and the rest, I find them very interesting to play.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes games like Monopoly, those are fun if you like games of chance, right? It's all about the dice. Where do the dice take you? You can build with a more complicated game, you can build a strategy, right? And you can try to win rather than hoping that the dice work out. Arnold, what about you? What games do you like to play? What board games do you like to play?
I like to play Cosmic Encounter, Rex, and there's this Dungeons and Dragons game we have, board game. Is it
Ravenloft.
Castle Ravenloft?
Oh, I love Castle Ravenloft.
I love that one very much. The one I like most, followed by Cosmic Encounter. It's a game of skill where you have to choose the right character or the ones which suit you, what you want. So that's the best thing about it. Yeah, as you said in Monopoly, it's just chance. You don't choose in one. It's just everything is set at okay. Everyone has the same, so it's just your luck. But Castle Ravenloft, you have to choose a strategy which you're going to follow.
Plus, it's a little like D&D, which helps. Kenneth, what about you? What board games are you enjoying playing?
I enjoy playing Rex, Ticket to Ride, Mr. Jack, and most especially Netrunner.
When I play the cooperation, I always win.
Ben, do you think there's a different set of skills people are learning from board games as opposed to role-playing games?
Yeah. I think that board games are very good with the planning side, and there's perhaps a little bit more maths involved sometimes. Things like, what can I remember? Power Grid is a great one for maths. But I think also role-playing is very good on the social side and the teamwork, and obviously there are good board games that are like that. But sometimes there's a bit of psychology that you can learn in the board games, which makes things a little bit different. And I guess the other thing is the themes, because role-playing, okay, there are a lot of different role-playing games, but the themes tend to be around something fantastic, yeah? And I think with the board games, you can actually have a fun time playing a game about, well, these guys don't like this one, but the one about Italian Renaissance.
Oh, sure.
And Signoria, where we were playing, and quite a lot of people like that. These ones don't like it, but actually, it's like the themes. You can introduce all sorts of different themes, and maybe you can stimulate interest in how to terraform Mars, or or how to. I'm trying to think of another good example, but you're able to bring in new themes, which perhaps people had never even thought about up to that point. Yet now they've played a game about it. I think particularly in the village. In fact, Patrick was saying this the other day. In the village, suddenly you talk about Mars. Most of them have never heard of Mars. They don't know what it is, and you suddenly play a game with them. You say, well, this is a planet. It's up there in the sky, and you start to think about. They start to think about things differently simply because they played the game. So yeah, board games brings in a new set of things. And the other thing I suppose you can say is you can classify the games into different types, and you can match them more to a wider range of people. So that means that you can introduce more people into playing games. And then over time, you can introduce them to role playing once you know how they handle the board games, and can step the board games up bit by bit. And after a while, you'll say, well, that person there can handle role playing. Yeah. And that's what we've done in a lot of cases.
And then you also, sort of the other side of the spectrum, you have a LARP that you're doing, I know, at your convention. How is that going? And have you done LARPing before? Is this something new? And what are you hoping to get out of that?
Well, I guess I can answer it by saying I'm not anything to do with the LARP. I didn't plan it. It was Patrick's idea from the start. But it's been fantastic to involve all of our members here in doing more practical things. We've made swords, we've designed shields, we've done a lot of things. We still got very much more to do before the actual event. So they've all done that, all themselves, on their own, shown a great initiative as well. But Patrick should take over from here because he's the one that's got the idea.
Well, I've done LARP before and it was quite challenging to organize, but the major reason why I decided to organize LARP is because as you're carrying out the physical activities in LARP, you can imagine them more carefully as you're sitting down and you're playing your game of role playing. Because if you can play it live action, you'll know it that, okay, I'm supposed to react like this to this situation. So the major reason why I introduced it was to help people understand role playing more, rather than just starting from nowhere and teaching them that this is role playing and this is how you play, you roll these dice to hit. But if you teach them that, so we are now going to play here, it's physical, you have to get your sword, or you can get an axe, or you can get a war hammer, and then you can start by challenging the orcs or challenging these ones. And then as you come into the tabletop role playing, you'll start understanding it a bit more than if you had just started from scratch without doing anything in LARP. So that's one major reason why I decided to organize LARP.
Wow, that's awesome. And are you, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. You're making a bunch of different weapons and shields to go with it. Are you having a good time preparing for it?
Well, I will say that I'm having a good time preparing for it in my own way, because I'm the person writing the adventure, but in terms of making things and so on, I'm not very good at that. Most especially if it comes to the art bit, whereby you have to draw. But making things like swords, I can manage. And this is one example which we made for the convention this year. You can see that it's a sword. Most of the weapons we are going to make will be swords, with exception of a few for those ones that are having special characters in the LARP activities. And I'm writing the storyline. I want it to be as fun as possible.
That is really, really cool that you're writing a story and you've gotten people together. That sword looks amazing. It looks like it's made of foam so that you can whack people pretty good with it, right? That's great. And Arnold, are you going to partake in the LARP? Are you going to be a part of the LARP?
Yeah, I'll be part of the LARP. For me, I'll be the Lich King. So
now that's going to be...
But majorly, I'll deal with the board game tryouts side. That's my area.
And Kenneth, are you part of the LARP, or are you also running something else? It sounds like everybody's taken over a little piece of this. This is very cool.
I am running something else. I'm running the Dragon and Flagon tournament.
That's awesome. Good for you guys for stepping up. There's the only way we get more games is if we make more gamers, right? If we make more people who want to play games. And it seems like that is one of the things you're doing. So thank you for that. That is very important work that you're doing. So, Ben, as we wrap up here, if people want to find out more about what you're doing, where should they go? Like, is there a website online that they can go to? Is there social media they should follow? What's the best way?
Well, we have a website, which is cyen.org.uk/game changers. It's not too hard to find. But we are also on Facebook. So, yeah, if you type in Game Changers, you should be able to find us on Facebook as well.
And I'd like to also, I want to set up our blog account for the role-playing part such that I write up the stories of the adventure, how it's going and what we hope to achieve and the rest.
And we also have a YouTube account, a new one.
For reviewing.
We have been reviewing some of the games, and our last one got, messed up, and we've made a new one, so come and subscribe.
Yeah, we definitely need subscribers for the new YouTube channel, which is Uganda Board Game Pioneers, or Board Game Pioneers Uganda.
Yes,
Board
Board
Game
Game
Pioneers
Pioneers
UG.
UG. We definitely need that.
Yeah, and we will link that, everything we've talked about will link to our website too, so that people can find it sort of in one central place. I'm going to go subscribe right now. As you write things, if you ever want to share them with the world, we're happy to help get the word out about stuff. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really appreciate this conversation.
No problem. Thanks for asking us.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much again to my guests, Ben, Arnold, Kenneth, and Patrick. It was amazing to have you. You know, Tabletop Babble is still a new show, and you can help us grow. Head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. Seriously, even if you're not listening via iTunes, even if you hate Apple, create a free account, rate us, rate all of the other podcasts you love. We will so appreciate it. It helps other people find the show, even if they're not using iTunes, because a lot of apps pull from iTunes' existing algorithms, or so I am told by the one and only Chris Nisak. And if you leave a 5-star review, I will read it out loud and credit the person who left it. You can make me say anything you want, like Dave.Rosser in a review entitled A Must Listen. I love the interview episodes, especially when they make announcements on your show. One area I think you could cover are conventions. Interview the folks who put them together, like Alex Kramer of GameholeCon. Oh, and Matt Colville. Thanks for the cast, man. Thank you so much, Dave.Rosser, for this review. Really appreciate you listening. Love the suggestions. I'd love to have Matt Colville on the show. Let me see what I can do about that. He's a big name, big fish, but, never say never. That's what I'm going to say. Never say never. People, if you want to learn more about what I am doing in the world of game design, follow my blog, worldbuilderblog.com, and follow me on Twitter to get updates about podcasts, game design stuff, and my dog Lilo. It's twitter.com/James Introcaso. Tabletop Babble is a show on the Don't Split the Podcast Network, thanks to Rudy Basso for founding it with me. Our theme music, which you're listening to right now, was provided by Battle Bards. Don't forget that RPGs are like sex. Make sure everybody has a chair.
Oh, hello, adventurer. I didn't see you come in. I've heard that you've been asking about Sir Vance and the elf wizard Lorik Darkbolt. Well, I can tell you everything you need to know. It's not an easy tale to tell, that of the make-believe heroes. I suppose I could tell you all about it, but instead, why don't I show you?
Lorik Darkbolt, that's me. Sir Vance Oftwall.
My vision came to me, and I was standing in a grove in the deepest heart of an enormous forest.
Halor himself said stuff to me. I'm chosen to go and find this golden tree that shines light everywhere. There's this grove in this
Lorik, I'm gonna have to ask you to calm down.
Around for the bar.
You guys are barreling toward the village.
You can call me Jimalil.
His name is Jim.
What's up, fellas? I heard something about adventure. Yeah, my name is Kellen Dimble.
We need to go faster! And he points his wand straight up in the air.
He rolled a natural 20.
Oh.
Charlie!
Accept the sanction, Lorik. And find the elf, the Dark Bolt, and bring him to me. Go now to your favorite podcatcher to download and subscribe to Make Believe Heroes, an actual play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventure. For more information, follow us on Twitter at MBH Podcast. Happy adventuring.